What's up guys, and welcome back to another video on my channel. And today I want to talk about the topic, how high can we go in this cycle, because I think there are lots of people that are interested in this topic, and also I receive lots of questions just regarding this topic, so I want to make a separate video about it. And in this video, I want to show you my expectations, what is possible, what is probable, also why it is possible and why it is probable, and of course also the number, how high can we go. But before we are getting started, I also want to give you a quick market update right here on the buyer index. And also, if you want daily market updates, so if you want to know exactly what is going on to make better decisions in the market, to see where we are currently at, then make sure to check out the first link in the video description. That is my Patreon account. There I post much more content and much more updates right here also on the buyer index. So that is the right address for you in case you always want to know what's going on. And right here in the buyer index, pretty much currently nothing special is happening. You can see it right here. We are still very low, and I see that is a very positive sign, because the market is already, the price is going back to the upside, but the buyers are not rushing into the market. So not something like, for example, right here, or something like right here. And that is a very positive sign. I just want to quickly give this update right here. And now I would say we can also start directly here with the question, how high can we go in this cycle? Let's quickly take a look. We were already at okay, that's the Altcoin Market Cap, 1.5 trillion, and the total market cap almost 2.6 trillion. So that is the high that we have currently seen. And also here, to talk about this topic, I want to show you basically the Excel sheet here from my Bitcoin price prediction, because there I also did the total market cap expectation, and I want to bring that up again, because I think lots of you didn't have seen this video, and they don't know how these 10.45 trillion to 16.67 trillion how I got to that number. And I want to bring that up, and also what is likely, what is not likely. And here basically you can see I have listed the cycles also with the increases and decreases. And from the cycle of 2013 to 2015, so basically in 2015 we have made a 12, you can see it right here, 12.53x to so from the 213 high to the 215 high. And if we would do that again, so another 2.53 times increase, then we would come to the 10.45 trillion. And now there is a very important point right here. 10.45 trillion, you can also see it right here, that is till the end of the year. So you know that most likely, from my analysis, it is the most likely that we will peak out somewhere around the end of this year. So can be in October, November, December, but also can be in January or February. But somewhere around the end of the year is the most likely for me. That is also why 10.45 trillion for me is the most likely scenario. Here you can also see I have written to 16.67 trillion, but the 16.67 trillion only come into play if this cycle should extend. So if we should peak out, for example, in, let's just say, June 2022, then very likely it would be somewhere in the middle, so like 13 trillion. But 16.67 trillion, so that is the highest value. That is just the case if we should peak out at the end of 2022, which is possible, but I think not probable. So I think it's more unlikely. So for me, the most likely is that we will peak out somewhere around the end of the year, and that would mean 10.45 trillion in total market cap. So that is the target from my side, from my historical data analysis. But then also I want to bring up this one right here. That is the Trollo chart. I will zoom in a little bit right here so you can see that. And here we can also see that we had basically the highest high in the first cycle, the next highest high, but that was a lower high right here, and that is, by the way, overvaluation. And we can see that in every cycle the overvaluation is going to the downside. So that means if we should continue this trend right here, then we should this time peak out somewhere around 700 to 800%. So that is somewhere around here. And if we then go also right here with end of this year, beginning of next year, so right here is the 1st of January 2022, you can see the trend line is 1 trillion. If we put a 7 to 800% increase on that, so 7 to 800% overvaluation, then we would come to a target of 7 to 8 trillion. And I think also that is very realistic. So I think in the end, very likely we will peak out somewhere in between these two targets. So that means the lowest one is 7 trillion, the highest one is 10.45 trillion. But as I said, it is also very important when we will peak out. So when we will peak out in October or November, then very likely it will be somewhere around 7 to 8 trillion. If we would peak out at December, January, then the 10.45 trillion would be much more likely. And if we are peaking out even after that, so let's say February, March, April, or somewhere right there, then of course the number will get higher and higher. So it is very important, so that is a very important point, to see when we will peak out. As longer as this cycle lasts, as higher we can go. But from the historical perspective, it is the most likely that we will peak out somewhere around the end of this year, and that is why 7 to 10.45 trillion is the most likely for me. Also, in case we should, so this cycle should extend to the end of 2022, which it was, I've said, is unlikely for me, but you can see that right here, then the trend line would be at 1.7 trillion. If we also do the 7 to 800% on that, then we would be at, I think, 12 trillion to 13.5 trillion, somewhere, something like that. So you can see then also this number is also increasing. So right now you have heard the point that is very important when we will peak out. So that is basically the key factor for this, how high can we go in this market cycle. As longer as the cycle lasts, the higher we can go. In case this cycle should just last for a very short period of time, then of course we will not go that high. But right now then of course is maybe the question that is coming up in your head. Okay, but when will we top out? You have said right now it is somewhere around the end of this year, but how do we know that? And that is of course a question that I also receive very often, and I have made a separate video on that. So just the exit strategy. And also I can give you a little quick overview right here, and that is, for example, if we should reach these, let's say 7 trillion, 8 trillion, 9 trillion, maybe 10 trillion, maybe even higher, and then we are again at these extreme dangerous levels in the buyer index. So the buyer index has worked out very well in this cycle. You can see that right here in February 2020. This has showed that too many buyers were in the market. Then we had the big drop right here. Then we had very nice entries here in March 2020 and also in October 2020. And right here, that was where we got the warning signal again. And that was actually like 2 weeks before the really big crash has happened. So that is something that I'm expecting again, that we will right now over time come back here to the upside, and somewhere we will, or somewhen we will reach these extreme dangerous levels in the buyer index again. And when we have done this, and when we are there, then we can see it. Okay, right now we have extreme dangerous levels in the buyer index. We have, let's say, a total market cap of 8.5 trillion. And maybe we also have a Bitcoin dominance that has made a new low. Then we can say with a very big certainty that this very likely is going to end very soon, and that then is the point to exit the market. So it is of course nice to have an expectation, so in my case that is somewhere around the end of the year, but of course that is not giving you an exact exit strategy right here. But if you have here, for example, the buyer index, the Bitcoin dominance also on top, then you can say, okay, when we are there, very likely we can see it, and then we can secure our profits, and that is exactly what I want to do. And in case you want to know more details, then I will link you my exit strategy video right here. There I talk about different aspects, different scenarios that can happen. So in case we should not go to 7, 8, 9, 10 trillion, in case we should peak out before my expectations, so in terms of time, in case we should peak out next year, we should peak out exactly at the end of the year. So I have covered all of that in that video, so if you are interested in that, then just check that out. And also in the end, then I also want to talk about the altcoin market cap and also the total market cap. So in the total market cap, as I have said before, very likely we will reach between 7 to 10.45 trillion in case we should peak out at the end of this year. Then in case you saw this video right here, so the most realistic Bitcoin price prediction, then you know that very likely, so from the historical data research, we can see that Bitcoin, the Bitcoin dominance, is making a new low every cycle, and we can project that into the future, and that is pointing out that we will peak, or that the bottom in the Bitcoin dominance is somewhere around 15 to 18.5, but let's round it a little bit, let's say 15 to 20%. And then of course, if we say right now, okay, Bitcoin dominance will go to 20%, then we have a total market cap, as I said, between 7 to 10 trillion, and then we have an altcoin market cap, so where Bitcoin is excluded, between 5.6 trillion to 8 trillion. And that also means that the Bitcoin high, so the price high in the Bitcoin that we will see in the cycle, would be then somewhere around 74, 75k to 105k, maybe 110k. But that is, as I said, depending on how high we are going in the total market cap. I think very, very likely that we will see these levels in the Bitcoin dominance, because that is an unbroken pattern. So that means we will just go in Bitcoin. So if we are go to the higher valuation of 10.45 trillion, this could be another 3x if we go to 106, 107k. And then if you take a look into the altcoin market cap, that is currently, let's round it a little bit to the upside, that is at 800 billion and could go to 8 trillion in case we are going right now with the 10 trillion in the total market cap. That is a 10x on the total altcoin market. If you then have a coin that is outperforming, it could be even more, but from right now it would be likely that the total altcoin market cap then is doing another 10x from if we say that we are at 800 billion right now, then this would be another 10x. And that is the reason why I'm not into Bitcoin right now, and that is why I just have altcoins. And to round this video up again, I will exit the market when we should peak out. I will not be in the market anymore. I don't want to hold any crypto during the bear market, maybe for short-term trading, but not as a holding, because it is very likely that we will repeat this boom and bust cycle. There is of course the possibility that we will break this pattern, that we will not do that, but I see this is just very small probability that we will do that, and I'm not willing to risk my portfolio value for that. So that was basically my explanation and also my expectation for this crypto market cycle, what we are expecting in the total market cap, in the altcoin market cap, in the Bitcoin prices. You also know right now why I am just holding altcoins. I have also pointed that out in several other videos, but here it is one more time. And in case there should be any open questions that I didn't answer, then just feel free to write them down in the comments. In case this video was helpful, then please leave a like. Also make sure to subscribe to this channel and also check out the Patreon account so you will not miss any future updates. That's it for this video. See you in the next one, and as always, have a nice day.